Hey, what's going on there, folks? Welcome back here to a Sunday, 11:26 a.m. California time here, October 27th, 2024 is the date. Latest activity shows a 4.4 earthquake there into the Middle America Trench there, just off the coast of Mexico. One of the latest quakes there on the globe. If you look here on the Earthquake 3D globe, we got quite the significant uptick here going on from this latest 4.4 all the way down here through the Costa Rica area, all the way down to the Peru Chile Trench. Very well-defined line of earthquake activity here today, and subduction zones out here in the area getting hit quite nicely. Not a whole lot here on the USGS side of things, but goodness, quite a few threes and some fours out there in the last 24 hours all across this major area. Big-time subduction zone activity in this region, so definitely of some interest right now because it's shown some elevated activity. Southern California here, a couple earthquakes in the last hour. As far as anything big overnight, well, let's take a look here, see what we got. Looks like a 2.6 here. South of Mount Whitney area, north of Ridgecrest, got a little bit of movement. 3.3 this morning, and also a 2.6 earthquake. Now, this is just to the west of our swarming area, to the west of our swarming area, which sits over here around the Death Valley area. This is a region that's been having a decent earthquake swarm here in the last couple days, with about 83 earthquakes in this region, various magnitudes as well, including a couple fours in there, 4.7, 4.5, 4.2. And again, there was really no main quake to set off this sequence of events. It's just a big-time swarm stirred up out of the blue. And it's painting a picture out here of the elevated seismic activity against along the San Andreas Fault, I should say. This inland earthquake activity and the locations that we've been seeing this elevated movement all around the area indicate some big-time strain out here on the San Andreas Fault. So today's activity, a little bit newer and in a different location here. 3.3 and a 2.7 here to the west of our swarming area, but in a general location here around the plate boundary. It just goes to show here that various areas are starting to fill in. Areas we haven't really seen a whole lot of activity in recently, starting to get elevated in terms of seismic activity, and I feel it's just a signal here, potentially some impending larger quake activity there on the San Andreas Fault. This is, again, just another area of elevated seismic activity. Further down south here, east of the Ridgecrest area, northeast of the Ridgecrest area, a couple twos coming in last night, but newer activity up north. Still seeing some movement here around Death Valley, with it looks like a good handful of them. It looks like quite a few ones and even a 2.4 in the mix as well. So definitely keep an eye here on Southern California. Extreme Southern California here. Nothing above the 2.5 range. Mostly smaller microquake activity out there for now. One off the San Andreas Fault from last night, a little 2.4 there, but we'll continue to watch it. No major swarming occurring down there now, but elevated seismic activity pattern out here in the last couple months are all point towards the San Andreas Fault. Near the Parkfield segment of the San Andreas Fault, a handful of smaller quakes, really nothing big. Mostly some twos out there. The Bay Area, one little earthquake off the coast here of the San Francisco Zoo, 1.6 earlier this morning. Really nothing big going on there for now either. Seismic activity here along the Sierra Nevada mountains, not as intense as down south here, but you can still see a little swarming up here across the area of the Sierra Nevada mountains. And of course that is a big part on the strain that builds up out here on the plate boundary. Really nothing new up here north. Around Susanville, we had this odd earthquake here yesterday, 3.5. That's just about ready to drop off the 24-hour map here in a few minutes. One more earthquake, it looks like, late last night underneath the Lake Almanor area. This has been a region of interest as well. Seen a 5-pointer out here. Yeah, it was about a year or so ago, maybe 2 years now. I'm thinking a little swarm of activity in a newly discovered fault zone out here that runs through the Lake Almanor area. Not even shown up here on the map. I don't think it's this one over here, but there's actually a separate one that runs underneath the lake area. Rest of Northern California, pretty quiet. Cascadia subduction zone, nothing going on there for now. One little earthquake off the coast here of the off California, Oregon area, off of the Blanco fracture zone. It's just shy of that area. But it's quiet up there, at least for now. Doesn't mean, it shows quiet on the map. It doesn't mean that it's actually quiet. They normally stop reporting anything above 2.5 for the weekends and holidays. That's the USGS. And then they'll get to a Monday and then add quake activity on the map. So a lot of times, come Monday afternoon, we have to go back and look and see if any quakes were added here through the weekend. Because it is important, even if they're smaller microquakes, to see what's going on in terms of seismic activity around the Cascadia and the Pacific Northwest. The rest of the country out there pretty quiet, aside from some oil fields out there. 2 little earthquakes there yesterday into the Great Smoky Mountains area, just outside that region along the Appalachian Mountains. Still under the weather here. I'm feeling a little bit better, but the voice is struggling still. But I'm hanging in there, definitely hanging in there. Let's see if we got anything major overnight. There's a 4.3. This came in late last night when I was doing the update. That's actually another deep earthquake there in the area. Well, I take that back. Was it really? I didn't do a late update like that, did I? I think it was an earlier update. That's just after midnight. I'm thinking I was in bed just after midnight, before midnight. But some deeper activity triggering into the area once again. That should amplify the surface potential out here. A lot of deep activity here recently in the area. And that's what I was talking about last night, watching this area for some further surface adjustment. But we don't have surface adjustment. We got some further deep activity out here. So that's a good indicator there of some regional larger seismic activity about ready to take place in this area. And the question is, where will it be? So got deeper activity all over the place here. Banda Sea, Java Trench, Papua New Guinea area, Fiji region. Keep an eye on today. That's a lot of deep activity. It looks like a little bit of migration here across the Java Trench with some forest stirring up out here in the last couple hours. It looks like nothing showing up here on the USGS map here. They're a little on the slow side today, or just maybe only reporting earthquakes of choice. I don't know, but we'll watch a lot of areas out here today showing seismic uptick here. Surface adjustment big time across this area. Deeper quake activity across the west. It's a movement out in Turkey as well. Looks like a 5-pointer. Let's see where that's at. Well, 4.9. That's what the USGS is stating here. 5-pointer there from the EMSC. Handful of other quakes in the area as well. Some movement around Greece. Even a couple 2s up there around. Let's see exactly where that's going to be at. Looks like just outside of France here. Some movement stirring up there this morning. Pretty much follow the plate boundary here with all these earthquakes recently. But today, looks like a lot of the strain out across the Turkey area. Off the coast of Greece. Nothing major out there in the Atlantic for now. That older earthquake from yesterday, a 5-pointer out in the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. All right, we got maybe some space weather activity to discuss here in terms of the Auroras. Looks like maybe tonight could see a G1 class storm. That's what it's showing here. KP index up around a 5 potentially. This is from a full halo CME from the most recent X flare here. Somewhat Earth directed as well. This could definitely stir things up here across the northern latitudes in terms of Aurora development, Aurora viewing. So if you got clear skies tonight, might want to get out there and see if you can see anything. We'll have to see when it kicks up. Right now, really no sign of it showing up yet, but could happen as we head towards the evening time period. As far as flaring goes, man, they ramped this up quite a bit. 30% chance for X flare. Surprised that hasn't been bumped up sooner. proton event still slamming the planet here with charged protons hitting the polar regions here, affecting low frequency navigation systems and high frequency communication systems out there. Those are not auroras, but the effects of the protons there on the ionosphere. But flaring, let's see what we got here across the area. There's our most recent X flare. Shot off a fairly large CME. Earth directed. It should be arriving sometime tonight. Not a whole lot of flaring since then in terms of large activity. We had a couple near M flares. Let's go ahead and check out the sunspots here, see what we have for today. There's a large group of them. This is the older image. We got to check the newer image here. And, well, there's still some sunspots out here that are fairly complex, but it looks like we're losing a little bit of complexity here with this center core region. Not seeing as much complexity as what we had last night. Starting to get separation of the cores, and that's really not a good thing in terms of solar flare potential. I mean, if you're looking for stronger flares, you want to have the intermixing here of the colors in close proximity, not separation. That's a big time separation there with that sunspot. Newer region out here on the northeastern limb. Kind of hard to tell exactly how complex it is, but we'll keep an eye on that. Overall, you know, there's some potential out here, but it looks a little bit less possible here today. This region here showing a little bit of complexity. Notice a lot of intermixing colors popping up here around that sunspot area. It's going to be 3876. There's grown quite a bit there since last night. 3876 shows that it's stable, but I'm seeing it popping up a little bit more. All right, let's check out severe weather out here today. We've got kind of breezy out here in Northern California. Got low pressure off the coast there of the Pacific Northwest, stirring things up out there. Really nothing major in terms of severe weather out here. Just general thunderstorm activity and a little bit there across the Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas area. Nothing severe. There's our low pressure out here across the Pacific Northwest. Bringing with it rainfall chances and cooler weather. A bigger storm behind that for Halloween, it looks like. I don't think we're going to be wet down here in the valley of Northern California. It looks like that's going to hold off until the next day. But, man, trying to go trick-or-treating there on Halloween night. This is for 6 p.m. there on Thursday, Halloween. It's going to be a wet one across the Pacific Northwest. Also across areas here of the rest of the country. Got a good swath of potential weather, severe weather. I think we'll check on that a little bit later as we get closer. But severe weather potential there Thursday into Friday across this area of the country. Our rainfall is going to hold off until, looks like we're not getting any rainfall across Northern California, extreme Northern California, but here in the Sacramento Valley, looks like we're going to have that old rain shadow effect there. I'm not seeing any rain the next day even. Goodness. Wow. It's crazy how quick the patterns can change out here. We were looking at a significant storm hitting this area around the 4th of November, and that has completely changed. And, of course, what happens out here across California, West Coast can have a dramatic effect out here across the rest of the country, which can have a dramatic effect across areas of the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico with tropical development. So as of right now, that hurricane potential, it's just all over the place. Look at this area out here. It's still showing some type of tropical system, but it's going this way, that way, zigzagging all over the place. Last night, the latest model had it very strong, coming close to, last night's model showed it coming very close here to Florida and then venturing off to the Atlantic. This one here is all over the place, so who knows? We won't know until we get a little bit closer, but it's still something to watch as the models have been very consistent with a formation of some type of tropical system down there around the Florida, Cuba area. And we'll definitely watch that. Man, look! It looks like the patterns are stuck here. see what we got for the symbols. Oh, there it is. Massive high pressure out there. Go away. Get out of here. Not a big fan of that. It keeps cooler temperatures at bay. But we got a little bit of cooler weather here to deal with before that high pressure sets in. Looks like it's going to be around the 4th of November, so when that thing sets up shop. But it gets out of there, moves off to the northeast there, so you guys can have the massive high pressure. If you like all the warmer temperatures, we'll take the cold out here. I definitely enjoy the cooler weather. So we're just going to see how things go out here today, folks. Another earthquake out here across the Java Trench, 4.1. Hope everyone enjoys their weekend, what's left of it. I know I got a habit of saying, welcome to the end of the weekend. And I forget, we still have all day, right? Technically, the last day of the weekend is what I've been trying to say or meaning to say. Later tonight, I'll definitely, the weekend will be coming to an end, right? Because you only got a couple hours left of Sunday. Then Monday's right around the corner tomorrow. But hey, enjoy the rest of the weekend while you have it. Seismograph stations out here. Pretty quiet for now. Not a whole lot going on. Have a good day, folks. And we'll see you guys back out here a little bit later on this evening for the Sunday night update. Take care, folks, and stay safe.